are back. Welcome to another edition of the Sports One. And we are back. We got the full crew in the house. That is what it's all about. The Yankees, out of any team in the league, are the best equipped to handle a blow like this.
I think there is a higher power at play here. He's due law of averages. That dude is the ultimate scrub. It's trash. Yeah. Every person you have in there is fucking trash.
Next game, you're going to see a big performance. You can see it in the end of the game, and I'm just totally stoked and excited for this.
And we are back. Welcome to another edition of the Sports Sport. Once again, it is the Barnes and Tony Show. Anthony, how are you, my friend?
Oh, it's a hot coffee day, Brian.
It is a hot coffee day. Cumberland Farms' finest, Donut Inn's finest. But I have to say, not the New York Rangers when it comes to salary cap in their finest. And we're definitely going to get to that as Matthew chimes in.
Yeah, Brian, Anthony, have your coffee. It seems like Matthew had his coffee this morning as well.
A couple of cups.
Yes, dude. And Brian Barnaby also commented earlier today. He says, wow, now that's a thumbnail.
I think that picture topped Brian Cashman with his thumb up his nose.
Oh, my God, dude. It's a funny photo.
It is.
What? Do you know when that's from?
The thumb up the nose?
No.
Oh, that one. You know, I just saw it on Twitter, and I was like, this has gotta be. I'm guessing he was like working the phones during spring training or something.
So crazy.
So I just thought that was hilarious. But that being said, Tony, you know, there's a lot to discuss. Let's start though in the world of Major League Baseball.
2-2, he got him swinging. A back-to-back strikeouts for Robbie Ray.
There's damage right there. Shohei. Way, Cy-Yo, nada, where did that land?
Stuck to Chapman, who leaps up and grabs it.
Story spins and fires. Out at first.
There it goes. See ya. Home run, Aaron Judge.
All right, Tony. So as we've seen with free agency, Major League Baseball, we think we know something. And then we don't.
We don't know anything.
You were so riled up.
So riled.
Last night, you were pre-ordering your Mets Carlos Correa jersey. You wake up at the crack of dawn this morning to see 13 years, $350 million, San Francisco Giants. That's too high. Your thoughts on Steve Cohen and the fellas being leveraged against the San Francisco Giants?
I mean, it's a tough loss, I think, for the Mets here. You know, obviously, not to say, Cohen's been doing a great job with, re-signing some guys, signing new guys we've seen so far, spending lots of money, above the threshold and everything. And, not really, batting his eye, but although Correa, honestly, it just seemed like a great fit for him to play at third with Lindor. That infield would be crispy. Adding a bat to our lineup. Maybe he just, one, didn't want to be in New York. Two, maybe did not want to play third base. But of course, 13 years, right? $350 million. It's a big contract, but it's spread out over 13 years. So I feel like, what's that annual salary?
I think it's around 27.
27?
Yeah, I thought that's what I heard.
I mean, honestly, I'm thinking like that's really like, I thought that was pretty doable for Cohen to sign, $27 million a year for Correa. I think for what he could do, I don't think that's really that much annually, right? 27 doesn't sound like a lot for what other free agents are making. I mean,
it doesn't, but I mean, I think that it's in no conservative nature, because you think about projecting stuff out, 8 years is tough, 10 years is tough,
right?
13 years. I just have a hard time thinking past 8 that this is going to be an acceptable deal.
Right. But I mean, but then you're going to go shorter term, but then more money annually is really what that would be. No?
Oh, well, yeah. It's just a player like him, he's not going to accept it.
Yeah,
at the end of the day, if you want this type of player, that's what to do.
Right.
But I mean, it has to be noted that sooner rather than later, it's going to be a disaster. And I'm just curious, if you were the general manager and the Mets had the chance to match this step by step, would you have done it?
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I probably would.
Wow. Because I honestly think I wouldn't have if I
Really?
was the Yankees general manager. Yeah.
Well, I just think, well, if you were the Mets general manager, though, with that team.
I just think it's going to lead to trouble. And I think
Really?
you're better off. I mean, think about the type of contract you're going to have to give Ohtani.
I know. Maybe that's why they didn't do it. But I mean, Ohtani, it's
Conceivably.
going to be $50 million a year. It's going to be crazy.
What do we think about these comments?
Well, I mean, Matthew, he's very happy Aaron Judge facing the Yankees.
Let's
very good.
go.
All right, easy there, Brian. He says prefer you're too high. And he says prefer claps back, the relaxed, the gentleman Jack, dude. I love a little back and forth with the fans here in the comment section. But yeah, Matthew saying Correa probably didn't want to play third. That also, I would imagine, he didn't want to play third. He probably wants to play short. So, I mean, it is what it is. It's just a shame because, I think the Mets could still pivot away from Correa, and still kind of acquire like another bat somewhere else. I think I read somewhere that Conforto's on the table, and so is JD Martinez.
Courtesy of John Heyman Twitter. Saw you liked it this morning.
Dude,
Don't try to sneak that one past me.
Well, no, I'm not saying it is. I still read it on Twitter. However, mistaken John Heyman may be sometimes.
Oh, geez, Arson Judge.
I think Arson Judge, dude. I think that would be a good pivot. Also heard Adam Duvall too. He's an outfielder too. I think could add some depth to the outfield. Decent bat. So we can see where they're going. I think again, the Mets seem to be in the mindset that Alvarez is going to come up and be a pretty big, decent bat for us this season. I mean, of course, you would have to assume anyone besides McCann would be, and Nito really would be an uptick in offense. You really can't get much worse than that. And I guess they're thinking maybe, Brett Beatty as well could put something up there.
You mentioned a couple names. Do you think they need multiple guys, or would you be good with like just Conforto, just Martinez, to a lesser degree, just Duvall?
I think I would be happy with just Martinez. But I would like to have Martinez and Conforto. Honestly, both of them would be pretty solid.
And I'm just saying, I understand 2021. You look it up, 38 home runs for Duvall.
Right.
He might be done.
Not buying it.
I mean, he hit 12 last year and hit 213 in 86 games.
Change the scenery. You don't know.
I don't know. You really think that he could have a big year? I don't know. With that, the extended outfield terrain out there at Citi Field, right field.
I think we can get him for pretty cheap.
Yeah, I mean, I would almost give him like a minor league contract.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see, how the Mets.
I think, it's still gonna be fine. We really, I mean, when you think about it, like, our past season, obviously, great regular season. Kind of, fumbled it at the end there, but still over 100 wins in the season. Our lineup is good. They were winning games. You just need to add, like, we had trouble with the DH spot, trouble with the catching position. And then adding a bat would be nice. So fill in someone for DH, add another bat somewhere else, and I think we'd be pretty happy.
Would you do McGill for Glaber?
No.
Wow.
No, I probably wouldn't.
I'm surprised. I just figured, that's
I don't know.
Opportunity, younger player.
Yeah, I understand that, but it's like, well, first of all, McGill's pretty young. All right, it's not,
Right, but I think you could part with him.
No, yeah, I could. It depends. I mean, are we going to pick up someone else for our bullpen right now?
Maybe bring Ottavino back.
Ottavino seems to be bringing back. The jury's out on Seth Lugo still, so I don't know what the deal is with that. It seems like they may be moving past him because he's not been signed.
But I wonder. I mean, is it like, does he really have that high of demands? Like,
I couldn't imagine. He seems like a guy who's just pretty happy to be playing in general.
Right.
So I don't know.
He wants to start though. I did read that
he wants to
be a
start,
starter, and they don't want to start him.
I mean, I at this point, I think with our rotation, there's no way he could start.
What about with the Carrasco trade though?
That's what I mean though. I mean, I think if he sticks around, sign him to the bullpen. I mean, I think it's there's some faults in the lineup. Quintana may not pan out. Carrasco, I mean, they're trying to get rid of him.
Yeah,
I don't think anyone's going to take him. But even if not, like, he could take Carrasco's spot. And again, I mean, like, Verlander, Scherzer. I mean, I understand. Like, obviously, those are like our two aces here, but they're older. You know, we've seen Scherzer be out for an extended period of time last season. I mean, I think Lugo can play a really great role. You know, which is the role he's been playing. Basically, is like a fill-in starter and our you know our setup guy out of the bullpen. Sometimes closing. You know, I feel like he's just a great versatile pitcher to have. I don't know. I think he's going to maybe hopefully come to terms with understanding his role with the Mets because, I mean, come on, man. There's huge opportunity for him in New York this year, like right now. I mean, like, you know, say what you will, and the Mets, you know, are trying to be a contending team for the World Series here. I mean, and Lugo's been with the team for so long. Like, wouldn't you want to, like, you know, see this out?
Yeah, you know, these negotiations, you know,
So
you
tough,
never know what's
dude.
going on. I just kind of wanted to, before we get to a couple other, you know, kind of lesser moves here,
Mhm.
just wrap up the Correa conversation. So I saw this on Twitter this morning, and I'm curious if you saw it or just what your guess would be here. The last time the Giants, and keep in mind too, Correa's never hit 30 home runs,
Right.
had a 30 home run hitter in their lineup. Do you know?
The last, like the
Last year, they had one player hit 30 home runs.
not last year, the last
The
year.
last
You're asking me
time.
what year?
The last time, yeah.
Okay. 2015. No,
2004.
really.
Isn't that ridiculous?
That is ridiculous. Who was it? You know,
Barry Bonds. Isn't that crazy?
that is pretty crazy. You were approaching like 2 decades almost.
Yeah. But I mean, I could see the ballpark that swallows up some homers. That's probably
Right.
why Judge really didn't want to go there. That was probably a
Yeah.
big reason why he's like,
Buster never hit?
dude, Buster barely hit 20.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought there was a couple of years though where he was like
24,
Yeah?
you know, 21,
dude.
17. Yeah. So that's the type of you know, I just feel like Correa's gonna get tight. I mean, you know, you have Jock Peterson, you know, you have Brandon Crawford. How are they gonna score runs?
Jock Peterson's free agent or no?
Qualifying offer accepted.
Really?
$19 million.
Good for Jock, I guess.
And in that division, too.
It's
you know,
tough, dude.
I mean, I think Correa likes the fact that he feels he'll be the unquestioned leader of the team.
Yeah, I bet.
But if you don't have any help, I don't know.
Yeah, what's the point?
How
dude?
positive of an experience is that going to be after that long season in Minnesota last year?
Yeah.
So I just kind of find that interesting. The Giants also did add Ross Stripling yesterday, the former Blue Jay and Dodger, 2-year, $25 million. Had a solid year last year.
Yeah, did he?
Yeah. After some rough, and he's been an all-star before. So you think about that. You think about them bringing in Minaya. Kind of seems like, because I think they already have 6 starters, that they're not going to bring back Rodon, which is a good segue. You know, I guess the Yankees did make him a formal offer. There's no, you know, specific report about this, but I guess they're saying he wants 7 for 200. They possibly offered 5 for 140. That his preferred destination is there.
Right.
The Cardinals, the Dodgers, you know, might be in the mix. So you know, it's probably a little bit of a cat and mouse game.
Oh, yeah.
But by far, he's the best starting pitcher left on the market. In your eyes, no matter who it is, do you think it's going to take 7, or do you think they could get away with 6 in the vesting?
I think they can get away with the 6 in the vesting. I think Rodon, I mean, you know, naturally, you know, he's got a few teams interested in him, so he's just trying to, you know, get the most bang for his buck here.
Mr. Boris, how are you?
Yeah, of course. I mean, as you know, a good manager will do that, obviously, you know, any manager really. So
agent,
right? Sorry. So I think, again, if it's reported that he wants to go to the Yankees, I'm sure, you know, they play hardball. He plays hardball. I'm sure he'll be the first one to budge.
Yeah, and I just think, I don't know. The Dodgers already have a lot of pitchers, so I don't know about that. We mentioned the Red Sox,
really?
but I don't. The way they're giving out contracts, I just don't think they want to go to $200 million. So
why would he want to go there anyway?
Exactly. So with the motivation to go there, with a 6-year added, you know, maybe even 6 for 170, but with that vesting, you would think that would want to get it done. And I think you can't underestimate the value of a free agent wanting to go
Oh
somewhere.
yeah, dude.
And who was it on the Rangers? Was it Mika or Panarin took less to go? Was it Mika when they came over? I know there were
I
one
think
of
it
them.
was Mika. It was definitely
Okay,
Mika.
yeah, because as we saw by the cap, Panarin
Yeah.
didn't exactly take a
And
discount.
Mika came over from Ottawa, so
Okay.
he was like dying over there.
Yeah. So I really want this done, and then I feel like we can finally like get moving on other parts of our offense. But I just think all efforts are kind of on pause right now, other than the Rodon negotiations, just because they want to make trades.
Right.
And if you sign Rodon, then whatever you're trading, which obviously we're guessing is going to be Glaber and hopefully Hicks. And then obviously other prospects that you would try to acquire a pitcher, but then maybe if you sign Rodon, you could bring in another offensive player or get offensive prospects versus getting pitching prospects. But if it was up to me, I think you have offensive prospects. Unless you're going to get a major league starter level guy,
Right.
you got to get pitching prospects. No, for Glaber.
Oh yeah, dude.
So it's just kind of tough. Where he goes, obviously the Mariners bringing in Wong would make you think that he's not going to go there. And then my thought is, and hopefully we don't get to this point unless they really want to just go all in and get him too, that a backup plan should, Rodon fall through the cracks, that you could revisit the Pablo Lopez negotiations.
Wow.
I'm guessing you saw a couple starts against the Mets. You know anything about him?
Yeah. I mean, he did really well against the Mets, actually. I feel like pretty consistently too.
Do you think if it was, Torres and mid-level guys, it would be worth it for Torres?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I guess that would be the pivot, but I just
that's still like it's tough pivot though.
It is a tough pivot, and Rodon seems like he's made for New York. So,
Before says Yankees balking on Rodon, and then he says someone remind him he is a Steinbrenner. Do you think Hal pulls like something they did with Judge, where just calls him and is like, "What do you need?" and then just signs him?
Potentially,
you think so?
But I think this negotiation's a little different.
Really?
And I think it's like, thank God, he just wants to come here.
I mean, push comes to shove. Do you think the Yankees would just give Rodon what he wants if he's like, "I'm going to walk if you don't give me this"?
I think if it's 6 years, 180 with the vesting, yes. If it's 7 for 230, probably not. Unfortunately, I don't know who is 7 for 230. They mentioned St. Louis. I don't know.
Would you sign it for 7 for 230?
Kind of.
Oh yeah.
Dude, just because I feel like it's not as ridiculous as Correa. And whatever, it'll take him through age 36.
Yeah.
And I just think we need him. We
know.
need that type of move. Our team is literally the only guy outside the organization we've brought in is Tommy Kahnle. Everyone else is back.
Yeah, I know.
We don't want him to be back.
So funny.
Oh, I just sweating out these moves.
I know, it's crazy, dude.
Oh my God.
It's so funny because I feel like as a Mets fan, like we were kind of in the same position where it's like, yeah, we signed Verlander to kind of replace DeGrom, but it's like we brought back Nimmo, like it's, basically the same team, offensively, basically the same team, just all around, I guess, besides like Senga and I guess Quintana, like our rotation's a little different, but everyone else, like bullpen's the same. I guess they got, Roberts. But other than that, basically the same. And it's like, we need, like, I thought Correa was gonna be the one move to be like kind of bolstering our lineup and changing the face of the team a little bit.
What's interesting, and I honestly wouldn't mind having him back, but obviously with Donaldson still on the roster and LeMahieu potentially being an option at third, we don't really have room at the moment. But what about he's got 1 year left of on his contract, Urshela for the Mets.
Gio Urshela?
For for you're giving up nothing to get him, pretty much.
Okay. Define nothing.
A prospect that's ranked 15.
Okay.
I'm just saying. I think that would.
Why not?
Yeah. I think there's a sentiment, and especially he goes to Minnesota, so you don't really hear about him. But that he's kind of cooked. I don't really think so. I think he's solid.
Yeah.
And he could have a rebound year.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something to think about. But Yeah, it's tough, especially for the Yankees. And you mentioned the Mets in the same boat with the lineup. It's like we did that 2 years ago and didn't get anywhere. So clearly, something needs to be done on that end. And I would imagine Glaber's at the forefront of it. But we'll see. So other than that, though, I guess the big ticket item, we know about Rodon, but on the offensive side, and we went into this free agency period where there were 4-star shortstops. 3 of them were off the board. Last one being Dansby Swanson. A lot of teams supposedly in on him. They said Atlanta. They said the Dodgers. They said the Red Sox. What are your thoughts there?
I don't know. It's tough, dude. I mean, I feel like if he wanted to stay with Atlanta, he would already signed there.
Right.
So I feel like Dodgers would probably be a better landing spot for him. Definitely someplace where he'd want to go. I mean, Boston, doubtful.
Yeah.
Like who wants to go to Boston right now? Honestly, even if it's like for the money, and I feel like any money they can kind of put up for him, the Dodgers could probably match.
Yeah, I feel like that makes too much sense.
Yeah, exactly. So I would say LA. I mean, he's got married too. He's married to a professional soccer player out in LA. It makes sense, dude.
Yeah. And I know they've got some good divorce lawyers in Los Angeles.
Oh my God, dude.
Come on, Tony. Lighten up a little bit. All right.
Brian loves a good divorce.
Hey, I don't love it, but America does.
Yeah.
Oh my God, prefer.
Should the Yankees offer a cash deal for Cookie Carrasco?
Deal. Yeah, what's the cash deal going to be? The Mets paying his contract and giving us $10 million? I mean, come on. That's ridiculous, Tony, and you know it.
No, yeah, that is crazy. I don't know. If the Yankees did do that, that'd be
like I could see
ridiculous.
Another team potentially doing that, but
yeah,
the Yankees, no way, dude.
There's talk of Mets trying to move McCann somewhere too.
I mean, I just don't see
who the hell wants him.
It's literally just Texas, and it's
but they were talking about having when DeGrom went over there, they're gonna move him with them. Right. I guess like some weird deal at the same time, but.
Yeah, but it could still happen.
Yeah,
I
guess so.
think it's
who's the Rangers catcher right now? Do you know?
Look it up.
Exactly. I'm gonna look it up right now. Throw it up.
And the Rangers are interesting, and I've kind of mentioned
Mitch Garver.
Okay. But Mitch Garver, offensive guy, McCann, defensive guy. I guess I could see it
right.
As a platoon situation, but I know it's tough. I mean, you got the Astros. I mean, the Angels you would expect to be improved. But I just think, the A's are the A's, obviously. Mariners are going to be coming, but I think for people, it seems like people are kind of writing off before, we even get to spring training that there's a chance that the Rangers could contend. And I think that's crazy.
That is pretty crazy.
There is offense. And then, I mean, if DeGrom makes 30 starts and, Martin Perez is the guy who was last year, you get 150 innings at an ERA under 4 out of Heaney with strikeout stuff. I mean, how do you say that they don't have a chance to make a wild card?
The Rangers.
Yeah.
My issue with them probably if DeGrom's healthy the whole year.
Right.
Because if he's not, I mean,
I did also, I don't know if this is a crazy thought because obviously, stuff changes all the time, but I just feel like if he's not healthy next year, he's never going to be healthy.
Yeah, there's no way. Because if it's another year of him having, and it's like the shoulder, the lat,
the MRI too.
Yeah, nothing's there. It's like what's going on really here,
Yeah. And then let's see. Small deal here, but Royals did bring over former Tampa pitcher Ryan Yarbrough.
Oh, I heard about
1
that.
year, $3 million, 4.50 ERA. Last year, we've seen him have more successful seasons the previous years, but a guy that could come out of the pen, could start some games. I mean, it's the type of move that the Kansas City Royals make.
Yeah, true. I feel like correct me when the Rays were going to the World Series. Was
opener?
Yeah,
started,
is he the one who came in for Snell when they pulled him and he
probably
blew it? I think.
Yeah, because he would always kind of piggyback in those situations. Yeah. Who's the guy the Royals have? Is it DeWitt, the shortstop? He's like kind of their guy. But boy, I mean, they have really struggled since that World Series appearance.
Yeah, they're actually talking about that on Rick and Dave this morning. because again, they were talking about like apparently yesterday, like of course Michael Kay is like bashing Steve Cohen a little bit for spending all this money and what's he going to do to the league and all these middle of the teams. What happened to Kansas City? What happened to Miami? Like it's like, all right, first of all, hold on. But yeah, they were talking about that, and it is like such a fall from grace. I mean, that year was so crazy for them, and then they just went nowhere after that.
Well, they had core guys.
Yeah.
They didn't keep a lot of them.
No.
And then they didn't develop any.
Yeah.
And I think that's the biggest thing. And you know, I talk about it all the time. The farm system goes along with the water and the running game and the defense. You got to have the farm system, and the water jugs are full, Tony.
Not over there.
Not over there at all. So I just kind of thought, you know, that was interesting. But I guess really, you know, Mike Zunino going to the Guardians, but
Zunino's all right.
He's got power, but it's just
Right.
you know, it's too much Gary Sanchez like.
I know. How do you think the Guardians are gonna? Are they gonna be in the same spot as last season? You know, like first round knockout.
Yeah, because I just don't think the offensive firepower is there.
What do you think is the deal with what's the rest of Shane Bieber's contract like?
I feel like it's not that long term.
Right?
Let's see.
Also, Matt Carpenter still free agent or
unrestricted free agent? Oh yeah, he is a free agent. 2025. So they have him for the next 2 years.
Okay.
Let's see.
How old is he? He's got to be like
27.
Oh, okay. So he's still decently young. I thought he was 30.
Let's see. So I guess this would be the first year of arbitration. Okay. Yeah, so I guess they're saying they think he'll get about $11 million in arbitration. Oh, wait, or 22. Yeah. Okay, because last year he made $6 million. So, I mean, if you're them, I mean, does it make sense to get that king's ransom for Bieber?
Yeah. I mean, it's just tough because he is your guy at that point.
Yeah, but I just feel like they need so much.
They do. They need so much.
And they churn out these pitchers.
Mm-hmm.
Last year, Bieber, 288, 198 strikeouts, 13-8, 1.04 whip. Boy, both of us could be in play, no?
Yeah, I would say so.
That'd
be
would
nice.
you be pretty excited?
Oh yeah, dude, of course.
Who would you part with though, prospect wise? Not Alvarez. You're
No.
set. Alvarez. Is Alvarez a perennial all-star in your mind?
Basically, and you gotta like give him a chance. You gotta give him like 2 years on the team, like of him like starting.
Confidence level.
Yeah.
What's your confidence level?
Oh, in him?
Like of being like what you're,
I would
big
say like
expectations.
75%. 75% confident level. He's gonna turn out real nice.
Wow.
Yeah.
That would be really something.
That would be huge, dude, to have a great like offensive and like both sides of the ball catcher, like
But
real
defensive,
leader,
I
dude.
feel like he's gonna transition to a
He's-
DH. No?
he's-
Gary Sanchez
Possibly, yeah. He's not. I mean, again, like McCann really is a great defensive catcher. So there'll probably be some drop off there, but come on. I mean, it can't be that bad. I mean, you saw Nito do a good job too behind the plate.
Yeah.
I mean, if you can keep up with Nito.
Well, and it's like if you're not Gary Sanchez and you could put up pretty good numbers, I mean, it's
Right.
worth figuring out the catching situation.
Oh yeah.
So you gotta love that. But that's what we got right now. Like I said, I'm just dying for some Yankee moves. So hopefully,
You think they're gonna
something
re-sign Carpenter or nah?
No. Struggled in the postseason. Obviously,
yeah. Well,
he's
the
older.
injury. Yeah.
He
it's
says he
tough,
wants
dude.
more at bats, but where are the at bats? I don't think there's room for him. I mean, obviously, there's room for him if he's going to be the guy that he was before he broke his foot. But
Right.
how do we know that?
I know.
So
Cleveland.
why not, right?
Honestly.
The Rays. He does seem like a Ray,
Yeah, he
dude. I could see him
does.
hitting 30 for the Rays next
Mhm.
year. So that's the thing. If he will agree to a 1-year, $5 million deal, which might even be a little rich, based on how much he has played the last couple of years, I guess. But we can't stretch our wallets for this one.
Yeah.
Do you think that was it though? That little moment he had last year.
I
that's
don't
it?
honestly. I don't think so.
Really.
I think
Mets?
dude, more at bats. I think he'll do really well.
Would you take him 1 year, $5 million?
1 year, $5 million? Yeah, absolutely. DH.
Yeah.
Why not?
It's interesting. He probably really wants to come back to the Yankees, I would imagine.
Yeah, probably. But you know what? I bet he'll look real good in that uniform.
Yeah. So I guess we'll see.
Mhm.
But like I said, I'm just churning for some Yankee action.
Oh,
But I know it's around the corner. Hopefully by the
Yeah.
end of the week, but we'll see. But let's go now to the world of the National Hockey League.
Here's Matthews. Scores! Hat-trick goal!
My goodness, this is a great shot.
Big hit on the far side by Picard! He flattens Jordan's stall! Oh my goodness! That's the gun right back! Terrified and robbed by Shesterkin. That's brilliant from Igor Shesterkin. It's a breakaway to win it in overtime! McDavid scores! The winner in overtime!
All right. It's hockey time, ladies and gentlemen. A lot to go over from last night. A huge slate of games. Unfortunately, that does mean not a lot of games tonight. But let's start off with last night, and Brian will be back in here with our records and how we did. I believe I went 4-0 yesterday. I have to toot my own horn here, but I do want to start off recapping actually a game, believe it or not, that we didn't even choose, and we actually talked about. But no one really picked it in their pick segment. But Washington Capitals in Chicago come in there and absolutely poo-poo on the Blackhawks. They win 7-3. And this was a game that Brian and I thought, maybe with Blackhawks, we've seen Washington struggle offensively, struggle in the goaltending. Maybe Blackhawks, the underdog, as we, so like to choose, could kind of slip one past the Caps. Little did we know, Ovechkin, which really I think I should have known. Brian should have known, honestly, at this point, taking some time to kind of heat up as he's been in the past few games here. Gets a hat trick, he scored his 800th career goal. I believe Gordie Howe's, I think, is 801, who is second all time in goals. He's going to be, now after that, chasing Gretzky's all-time goal record. Pretty intense game from him. I mean, Ovechkin just been absolutely lighting up the ice, which really, again, I mean, we should have known, watching Ovechkin for years now, that he would, actually, not really have a bad year and just kind of come into his own, getting a little older, maybe need some time to warm up. And he's doing exactly that. I mean, 3 goals last night. We've been seeing him 2-goal games seemingly every other night for the past week. Again, he's just a scoring machine left and right, Brian. It's absolutely outstanding, honestly, for him.
Yeah. I mean, to produce at such a high level at an advanced age, he's obviously a true legend of the game. And I'm just very interested to see the course of this season for Washington, what they're going to do. You would imagine they're going to add somebody. And can they get back in that championship conversation? Because I'm sure he is absolutely churning at another chance at a Stanley Cup.
It is absolutely ridiculous that he's been in the league for this long, has been doing so well for this long, and only has 1 cup. It's almost, it honestly kind of right now, it's almost like mirroring, McDavid is almost mirroring him now at this point, being one of the best players in the hockey league. And he has, almost no hardware to show for it. But Ovechkin now at 800 goals after his hat trick last night, right behind Gordie Howe with 801. And then Gretzky is really not that too far off at 894. So, seemingly, Ovechkin, after this year, and maybe another 2 years in the league, he's going to be surpassing Gretzky and hitting that 900 mark. And who knows? Honestly, it seems like the ceiling for Ovechkin is still incredibly high. It's honestly kind of ridiculous how well he's dominated for so long and everything. So obviously kudos to him, especially as a Rangers fan. I've seen a lot of games where he's done some magic out on the ice. So that's huge, and a big win. Again, 7 goals. He scored 3 of them. Connor Sheary doing some good stuff in Washington as well. He had 2 assists last night. But again, I think having a young, solid defenseman would definitely bode well for them. You saw Van Riemdijk had a goal last night, which is obviously good for them. But I mean, other than that, I mean their defense is not good.
Yeah, and it's a shame, and we'll talk about salary cap in a second, but I know I keep obsessing over it, but Carlson probably would help them, but I just think with the salary, they probably won't be able to do that.
They would need to move some other players.
And how about this? So, they won the Stanley Cup at the end of the 2017-2018 season. Since then, They've lost 4 consecutive times in the first round and have won a total of 7 playoff games. So just shows, the struggles that they've had.
Right.
Any chance, maybe Trotz in the future coming back?
Trout's back. It's possible. I mean, when you think about it too, I mean, they won with him,
Right.
So it's very possible. But again, I mean, Barry Trotz was also there for so long, not winning. I mean, I feel like it was almost every year they would get knocked out first, second round. So it's interesting. I don't know. I mean, they moved away from Trotz obviously for a reason. There'd have to be a reason to kind of bring him back, something different that he could offer. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's, a very, precarious situation Washington's in. It's still so crazy. I think though, if they want to pursue Carlson, they got to get rid of, I think, TJ Oshie, honestly.
Yeah.
I think that's someone they can
But
move.
who's going to take him? Rangers? Contract can't fit him.
No, maybe San Jose.
San Jose. Interesting. Yeah, some offensive punch.
Yeah, dude.
I almost think even though we have to take a look at the lengths of the contract, but I almost think they'd be interested in doing that just because Carlson, the couple years before, it's been disappointing.
Mm-hmm.
So just be interesting to see if they'd want to switch things up there. And Oshie, excuse me,
Mm-hmm.
Yoshi,
dude.
I would imagine he's got to be slightly younger than Carlson, or is it about the same age?
How old's
Carlson's
Carlson?
33?
33? Yeah, I think he's younger, maybe 32, 31.
Okay,
something
so
like that.
close. I just remember he had some big goal for Team USA, right?
Oh, yeah.
It was that
like 4 years ago.
the
Oh,
Olympics.
he's 35, dude.
Oh, so he's older. Okay, so.
Oh yeah, in the Olympics. That must have been like 8 years ago.
What are the numbers? Are there any numbers this year, Tony, in terms of stats?
Let's see. So far this year, 20 games played, 5 goals, 6 assists.
Okay, he's only played 20. Now go down. For like the previous couple of years. I'm just curious. Okay, so really has not been
honestly since basically after.
I mean, really, it's like he had one good year.
Yeah, in 2016.
He's just kind of average, and he makes a lot of money, right?
Yeah.
What was it? 6 million?
Where the hell is his contract?
Go back. I saw something on Google. Go up. Oh, it says 4 million, but when was that? 2007. Why did they list 2017?
I know, really, dude. Let's see, contract.
Renizzi joining the party, ready to talk some hockey.
8-year, $46 million contract, including a $20 million signing bonus, $46 million guaranteed, annual average salary of $5.75 million.
So it's not the craziest thing we've ever seen, but at the same time, he's not really producing.
That isn't that crazy, but he
for a winger, right? I mean, isn't a winger supposed to be a 30-goal guy if you're one of the top wingers?
Yeah, no, definitely, dude. I mean, look at
and the legend that is
Michael.
How are you, sir?
Yes, sir. Yes, thumbs up.
There he is.
Let's go Rangers. Oh, Brian, like that one.
So my whole thought here, though, Tony. So you look at, I was mentioning Trotz to the Caps. So Peter Levault, I don't know, whatever.
Yeah.
So I guess actually he was this is his third year in Washington. And obviously, I mentioned 4 playoffs in a row they've lost in the first round.
Laviolette.
There you go. So back in 2005, he actually won the cup with the Hurricanes, which I found interesting. But you look at his career, he came close with the Predators in 2016. They lost in the Stanley Cup Finals, but overall in the postseason, 78 and 76 have been very average. I know, obviously, postseason hockey, tough to win games, but if you look at, losing in the first round with Ovechkin the last 2 years, slow start this year, obviously they've turned it around recently, but I think they're a bad stretch away from him getting the walking papers.
I would say if they're going to make the playoffs this year for sure.
But if they lose 10 in a row, he's done.
Yeah. Well, I think they'll give him the year, and if they lose first round again, right after the season, you're out.
Trotz maybe back, or was there some tension there with?
I don't really know. It was a really odd situation. It was almost like because Trotz was on. It was the same deal when Trotz left when he got canned from the Islanders too. Like they made Eastern Conference Finals, had a great year, and then he's gone.
Not liking him.
So maybe that is it. But it's tough because he was with Washington for so long. So maybe there was like some front office people who really enjoyed him. Players did not. They kind of just kept him around until it was like, all right, like this is going to be too much. But again, it's like Trotz won the cup, and then like 2 years later, he's out.
Yeah.
So there must be something wrong with Barry Trotz.
Yeah. No, I mean, I definitely could see that. And we had to talk about this. I know we're kind of all over the map here.
Let's do it.
But we were talking before the show,
Insanity.
Rangers salary cap situation. We've talked about the possibility of Kane coming to town. We looked up his salary. He'd actually be the highest paid Ranger other than Artemi Panarin if he were to come over.
7.5.
And so a couple things here. The first, and I'm not trying to be negative, but I feel like we're getting robbed blind with Panarin's contract.
I think you're being a little negative here, Brian.
But we talked about where he ranks, amongst the NHL, top salaries. Second in the league. That's crazy. Come on. He's not even top 10. He's not a top 10 player in the league.
You think he's top 10 player in the league?
Stop. But I without even looking anything up, I think we could get to 10, and you'd agree with everyone. All right.
Oh, let's do it.
McDavid.
Okay.
That's 1.
Draisaitl, go ahead.
2. Matthews, 3.
Okay.
Ovechkin, 4.
Okay.
Crosby, 5.
Okay.
So that's just 5 off the rip. Let me just see here for a second. So I'm just trying to think about other teams.
you could argue this year
McKinnon and McCarr are better. There's no
McCarr,
way.
No.
McKinnon
yes.
is better. Okay,
Yeah.
so that's 6.
He's injured right now, though, just saying.
So McKinnon 6. You're telling me you wouldn't rather have Jack Hughes?
No.
Tony, come on, man.
Dude, first of all, he's been in the league for quite a few years now. He's just finally getting good. Would not have Jack Hughes over Panarin.
I'm trying to think of other teams here.
You could argue this year there's that guy on the Stars, Jason Robertson. He's been off the chain. Tage Thompson, right, for Buffalo has been really good. But again, these are guys that are having one-off years. So I really like their top 10 right now.
Stamkos is better.
Stamkos, yes.
So that's 7.
Kucherov,
8.
And Panarin at 9.
No, Panarin is not at 9.
Go on, you got 2 more. Can you argue 2 more?
Yeah. We didn't count Thompson. Thompson is better. He had 38 goals last year. He has like 23 already. Panarin has 6.
He's had 2 good goals.
All right. Not even a conversation.
Yeah, but he has like 40 assists already.
No.
That's a huge.
He does not have 40 assists. He has like
maybe
20.
30.
No, he really is having a weak season. I'm telling you, Tony.
All right. First of all, looks so good in the jersey. Great job. Hockey DB. No. Where the hell is hockey reference? They put it all the way at the bottom here. 29 assists right now, 6 goals, 35 points.
Where's the bread? That's my question. Why is the bread not on the table, Tony?
Hey, man, it came up big in the shootout, against the Devils here. That was huge. Came up big in the shootout against Colorado as well. He has, I think he's just taking this role. By the way, it says current salary is $1 million, by the way, which is ridiculous.
Which is obviously insane.
That's outrageous. So, I really enjoy Panarin. He's a great setup guy. And if that's his role right now, that's fine. Maybe $11 million for the setup guy is a little bit much, but I'm not going to get rid of him.
You don't think, though, in the right deal you would?
Well, what's the right deal, though?
Tage Thompson. Not straight up, but
right.
Part of a bigger deal.
It kind of depends now. Let's Tage Thompson is going to be probably wanting as much money as that if he continues to play like this. So you're kind of, swapping one big contract for another, which is fine. But I think Tage Thompson, I need someone with a little bit more, someone who's a little bit more established in the league. With Tage Thompson, even if it's like a mid-level established guy who's just solid.
But that would be something that would be nice.
With the way he's playing, but Buffalo, are they going to give him up? If they want to go the route of giving him up for draft picks, maybe. But which they obviously would probably benefit them either way. But I think to get rid of him might be a mistake for Buffalo. But that's just my opinion.
And with after this season, with 3 years at that 11.6 number, I just am concerned, we talked about Bettman saying that the salary cap might only go up $1 million. We have a lot of financial commitments to guys already on the roster. I'm just concerned that contract is going to hamper us down the stretch and it, prevent us from bringing in guys. And I think even though he's had a decent year, I think Trocheck as well. You think about that, that's $16 million. Or 17 almost. I just feel like we could get better value for $17 million than Trocheck and Panarin.
Yeah, I mean Trocheck, that signing was a little bit surprising to me. And I mean, looking at Panarin's numbers right now, right? We mentioned the 29 assists over the first 30 games here. Last year, over 75 games, he had 74 assists, 22 goals. So he's on track for about that still. But I don't know. I mean, maybe a hot stretch he hits. I mean, again, the year before that with the Rangers, it was 17 goals, 41 assists. That was kind of your COVID year though, but with only, over the course of 42 games. Yeah, -6 on the ice isn't great. That is his plus minus right now. But again, over the past few years with the Rangers, he's never been in the negative on the ice. So I would imagine that changes, especially with the level of play the Rangers are going up as a whole team right now. So I mean, I don't know. It's tough to, I guess, determine that type of value. But I mean, when you look at him on the ice, I mean, he's one of our best players still.
Yeah, like I said, I'm just thinking about the future and improving it. I just think that's going to hamper us. And another contract that I think could potentially hamper us, Trouba with $8 million. I don't know.
Yeah, I could see that too.
Adam Fox,
too much.
The best part is Adam Fox at 9.5 is worth it.
Yeah,
but Trouba at 8, there's no reason. And Fox, that's the guy who should be the captain. He's young. He's going to be there for a while.
Yeah,
you sign him to a long contract.
Again, I think Trouba's been making some good strides the past week or two, in filling this captain role. But $8 million for him is really a lot. I'm really like, that's a huge. Even last season, I don't have his numbers in front of me, but I mean, I know he had goals here and there. He was a very solid defenseman, a big body, very physical player. But I mean, $8 million is not what he should be making, especially with how his year is going right now. So I mean, that's someone who we may look at moving again if he, I think if he continues to be the captain he's been kind of forming into here and plays the way he's been kind of improving a little bit here, I think he may have some value for another team, especially if he proves himself as a leader, as a captain, and then we can kind of get rid of him. We don't necessarily need a Jacob Trouba to win a Stanley Cup. And I could understand, to go back to Panarin down the stretch and Trocheck, obviously the Rangers pick those guys up at that money because, they're looking to win right now. They're not really thinking about the future. They're thinking about winning right now this year. And those were guys available to get us to the cup. And I think if we don't win a cup within the next 2 years, then you probably see these guys,
but
trying to be moved.
But how does it work in the NHL? Because with trades and albatross contracts, can another team pay part of it and the team trading him? Can you do that?
Yeah.
Because I feel like with those guys, that might end up being necessary depending on how long they hold on to them for.
Yeah, again, it is very dependent on the outcome of the next couple of seasons for the Rangers. But I mean, and it's also going to be tough too. I mean, I'm sure Kakko, Lafreniere, Hedl, these are going to be contracts that are going to need to be addressed in the next few years with their level of play, at how much money they want to make and how you're going to sign them, and where you're going to kind of adjust to the salary cap, how you're going to kind of play that. But it's interesting. I mean, Panarin, I wouldn't say we're overpaying for. I would say really just Trouba, looking at these numbers, that we're overpaying for. I mean, think about it. Kreider's making 6.5 a year,
which is great.
Which is great. I mean, that's a great. I think that's kind of an undervalue for him, honestly. And other than that, there's really Mika 8.5, great value for him. He's a phenomenal player. Other than that, there's really no huge contracts.
Who's Drew Doughty on the Kings?
Drew Doughty on the Kings is defenseman.
Really?
You say fourth year? What? No. No.
It seemed like he was serious.
Drew Doughty's been in the league forever. He
$11 million.
Yeah. What?
$11 million.
He's making $11 million.
Yeah, rip off, right?
I would say now probably, but I mean he was one of the top defensemen when they were making the cup runs.
Okay. So they're kind of paying for that now.
Yeah, definitely.
Jack Eichel, $10 million. Oh, Eichel in New York. Well, why do we have to miss the boat on these things?
He used to be in New York, dude. Think about that. I know. It's so tough, dude. But everyone, dude, I mean, when he was like requesting trades and stuff, like he was such a liability with his neck injury. Like nobody knew. It took a team that just came into the league to take a chance on him, So it was a big toss up whether or not he would skate well again, So but that is tough to see him over there in Vegas and doing so well.
So all I'm saying is obviously, with the 4 wins in a row, like the general direction, of this season after a very tough start. But it's just like, please, we got to keep this going. And I just, like I said, I just hope when we want to make improvements that we're able to do so. And one last thing before we get to, the games, do you think they're going to be able to? And if they are, who are they able to move at the deadline to open up space to do so?
Like
this deadline
this year? Yeah. Honestly, I mean, I guess Jacob Trouba.
Wow.
To possibly move. I mean, again, if they don't need him, and if another team has interest in him, like why would you not move him? That's a pretty sizable contract. And again, if he stays pretty solid, why not?
Yeah.
Because you're not really going to be moving anyone else with big contracts. You're not moving Zibanejad. You're not moving Panarin yet. You're not moving Trocheck, obviously. You're not moving those guys this year.
Has a captain ever been traded mid-season? Like, I know they traded Callahan after the season, but that's probably pretty rare, no?
They traded Callahan after the season, and I think McDonough mid-season.
McDonough was the captain.
Yeah, McDonough was the captain when he was on the Rangers.
Wow. Interesting.
Pretty sure McDonough was mid-season.
So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens. I wish they were playing tonight, but I know tomorrow.
I'm riled right now.
Yeah.
A couple comments, by the way, from Matthew. Split screen looks phenomenal, he says. I also agree. And he also says, side note, if you see Sandy, tell her I can't wait for her salad tonight. Dinner. It's the Knowlton Christmas party tonight.
Oh, okay, okay.
I was coming through, or
dude, I we'll have to talk about it, Tony.
Oh, yeah.
Fair enough, right?
Yeah, I'll talk about
it. Anyhow. So very, very light, schedule tonight. Canadiens, Senators, the national games are Red Wings, Wild, Canucks, Flames. I mean, could they have done a worse job of matchups, national TV exposure? I mentioned, you got the football tomorrow, so you get basketball, but that's not that much to compete with. I just feel like that's a terrible job.
Yeah, and it's like they thought something big was happening over here, so let's schedule like 2 games with just Canadian teams and then 1 game with the Red Wings and the Wild. Like, what was there supposed to be? Like, why?
Flames, I guess, there was some hype, with Huberdeau coming over and Kadri this year. I understand that, but why the Canucks? Who was interested in that?
I know.
Wild Red Wings, yeah. I mean, it's just not.
That's gonna be a good game, though. I think.
Really, though?
I'd watch that. Yeah, TNT 7:30. Let's go.
It's just with the Wild, though. I mean, is Kaprizov that good?
Yeah. I mean, the Wild's a very good team. Detroit's fun to watch.
Yeah.
Husso's been playing really well. I know they don't have like the greatest records, but what's Minnesota's record?
Minnesota is 15-11.
Okay, and then Red Wings 13-9.
Canucks actually have a better record than I thought. 12-13. I thought they were like 6 under.
Oh, really?
I get tough start. Have won recently.
Yeah. Elias Peterson, solid.
But back-to-back games. I think the Flames are tight. Are the Flames going to turn it around and end up being one of the top teams in the West by the end of the year, you think?
Top teams in the West? Possibly. I mean, I think they're going to need more from Kadri, obviously. I mean, looking over here, Kadri leads the team with goals, 11. But, like, Elias Lindholm is your point leader right now, 23 points here. That's kind of bad. Markstrom, not great. I'm looking at their goaltending. I know it's not great, Michael. I mean, Jacob Markstrom, 8-7-3 in the year, no shutouts, 2.81 goals against, 897 save percentage, not great. Vladar, their backup, 2.81 goals against as well, 905 save percentage. It seems like they take a lot of games to overtime and fucking blow it, honestly.
Yeah. 3 straight losses. 2 of them were to the Blue Jackets and the Canadiens.
That's embarrassing. And then overtime loss to Toronto, shootout loss to Montreal here. I mean, you're only scoring 1 goal against Montreal too. That's probably an issue.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so like again, like you need to, like you should be leaning on Kadri right now. He should be, you know, he should easily have 20 goals, I think, so far this season.
But
Easily.
he probably doesn't look as good since he's not surrounded by the talent of Colorado that he was last year.
Pretty crazy. Also, I forget yesterday who pitched the shutout. Was it Buffalo? I think Anderson had the shutout, right?
Oh yeah, 6 or 7-0.
Did someone else have a shutout? Oh
No,
no, it was
Carolina.
Carolina, dude. It was their
Chokri was
boy,
riled.
dude.
The phenom.
Only goaltender so far in the league to have back-to-back shutouts.
Wow.
Pretty impressive. I think even Chokri talked about him earlier in the season of how he's going to be really good, and look at him right now, dude.
Interesting. And just wanted to update everybody. What a night for us picking. If the frigging Coyotes could give us Melkin some help,
dude.
we would have went 8-0. But we go 7-1, which is pretty good. So tight as always.
Yeah. What's the record?
39-37. I'm in the lead here. Got till the end of the calendar, Tony. But that being said, we'll go one apiece in the common. Pick of the litter. Crazy games. What do you got?
Jeez. These lines are ridiculous too. There's heavy favorites, so it's like, who do you pick? Do you go with the favorite? Do you go with the dogs? I mean, the Senators minus 220 against the Canadiens. I understand the Senators have been solid right now, but I guess give me Ottawa. Give me Ottawa.
I thought you were gonna say Canadiens.
I know, me too, dude. But I was hot on Ottawa in the offseason with the moves they made, and I think maybe finally some guys are coming into their own here. You know, they just shut out Anaheim, which is great. They beat Nashville too. They played really well against Dallas, so yeah, give me the Senators. I wonder if Talbot's maybe starting tonight.
Only one way to find out.
I know. It's a shame.
Better Chachak, Matthew or Brandon?
I guess Brandon.
Yeah. Close though.
Yeah, it is very close.
Talbot likely.
Really?
Yep.
Let's fucking go. Give me the Talbot, man.
Wow.
Solid so far. 255 goals against, 917 save percentage, 1 shutout in the year. 6-7. That's because Ottawa off to a slow start offensively. Give me Ottawa here. 3-1.
Wow.
Yeah, let's go.
So this is kind of interesting here.
Oh, buddy boy.
I think though, just because I see it looks like I don't know if it's, let's see, is this 100%? Yeah, unconfirmed, but Markstrom, should draw the start tonight for Calgary. I know Vancouver, has been playing better. But I just think there's still a lot more talent on Calgary. So give me the Flames here. Markstrom shutout. 3-0. Kadri, hat trick. Mark it down, Tony. Mark it down.
Well, you're marking it down.
But that leaves us with the common game between the Wilds and the Red Wings. I feel like this is a tough spot for you. You've always had a soft spot for Larkin.
I know, dude.
You see the talent that
on the Wild,
I know, produced this year. So very interesting. I'll take whatever side you don't want. So up to you, sir.
I'll take Husso, honestly, on Detroit.
Yeah. All right.
I'll do it.
So Wild for me, Kaprizov with the hat trick.
Big dog, dude.
Is this a tight game in your minds?
Yeah, I think so. I think Detroit we've seen struggle offensively, but obviously, leading on Husso, 3 shutouts in the year here. I think he'll do a good well with fending off shots of Minnesota because they're definitely gonna have more shots on goal than Detroit. So I can see this being like a 2-1, 1-0 game, honestly.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So good tending, on display. Husso, an outside shot at the Conn Smythe or no?
I think so.
Wow.
He keeps this up. Has to, limit those overtime losses, I think, but 918 save percentage is probably got to be one of the top in the league, I would imagine. And 3 shutouts is definitely he's probably tied for first. I think someone else has 3 shutouts. I forget who.
Definitely a nice rebound season for him after losing some playing time to Binnington last year.
Yeah, definitely.
It's funny. Before we close out, one thing I can't believe I forgot to mention this, and it was just you could imagine how much this would bother me. So, obviously we're talking Yankees with Rodon. Did you see who their backup plan is?
No.
Nathan Eovaldi.
Eovaldi? No.
Oh, please no. That is the one reunion that you never want to have there.
No, Mr. Poo-Poo.
So I know with Boston, he's been decent, probably pitched the best baseball of his career.
Bullshit.
3.
Had a cup of coffee with the Yankees in 2015.
So that kind of
16
annoys me.
after coming over from Miami. But if you look at the numbers here, Tony, he's been in the league 11 years. He's made 30 starts twice. He's never pitched 200 innings. And his ERAs have not been that great. A career 4.16.
Sayonara.
I just think give me Clark Schmidt. Give me Devi Garcia over Nathan Eovaldi. I don't know what type of contract that he's gonna want, but don't you think? I mean, talk about pissing off your fan base,
Right? Is that really their backup plan? Honestly, like that's really what has been reported.
It's out there.
Jeez.
He's coming off a contract with the Red Sox that he made $17 million. Like, oh my God, no. Like, that is so bad. I almost would rather have Carrasco.
Yeah, honestly, me too. I definitely would, honestly. Definitely.
You don't think that they embarrass themselves and do that, do you?
No, I don't think so. There's no way they could do that, dude.
I mean, you want to talk about, the Boo Birds will be back for Hal if that's how they finish off the offseason. Oh my God, John Heyman report about this.
Really?
According to John Heyman, who obviously has shown that he's not, reliable this year, Eovaldi, the Yankees are believed to have interest in Nathan Eovaldi. Eovaldi may be the backup plan if the Yankees are unable to land their top starting pitching target in Rodon. 3.87 ERA in 109 innings last year. Durability concerns. Typically been an effective rotation option when healthy. No, and no.
Absolutely no.
No, but really though.
No.
I'm just trying to think too, like, comparing it, like I think like Tawan Walker's better. I think Carrasco's better. Chris Bassett way better. Like Eovaldi, I don't know. I think too it's part of just watching him in depthly for those 2 years. And it's like, yeah, he always had the high velocity, but I feel like he never had the return that you were looking for. And I was just thoroughly disappointed when he was with the Yankees. So I just hope that we do not see that.
Yeah, no, I don't think you will. Don't worry, Brian.
Are we covering how about this? What's the next big signing we're going to be talking about on the Sports Report? What is it?
The next big one?
What's the next domino?
Swanson.
Dodgers?
Yeah.
10 years, 350?
Yeah, I can see that. 10 years, 325?
Yeah. I mean, it'd just be interesting to see. You know how these guys are about, they want to be higher paid than this guy, that guy. But I don't know. I know he's not even in the conversation, but would you want to give him that? Like, I just feel like he's had one good year.
Honestly, I would not give him 10 years, 325. No way.
What would you give him? He was dying to be a Met.
Oh my gosh. I don't know, man. Maybe like 7 years at like 280.
Yeah. And
right. What does that equate to? 30?
7. No, 7 and 280 is 40.
40? Oh, no. What's
30 is 210. So like a Rodon contract.
No, yeah, 30 is 210. That's right. Yeah, sorry.
Rodon or Swanson.
Yeah. Well, for the Mets?
Same price.
Swanson.
Offense.
Yeah. You gotta.
Yeah. Interesting stuff. But I just want to get this news and I just want to move forward. I mean, I really think they've almost been the most inactive team in the whole league.
Yankees, yeah.
Other than Judge. I mean, Canely.
Again, like, Aaron Judge, just re-sign your own guy.
Right. But, I mean, obviously we're grateful, but still.
Oh, yeah, of course. But it's,
On to the next thing. Other than that, though, Tony, anything else on the way out here?
Nah, I don't think so, dude.
Just what a day. What a life.
What a show.
What a show. And as always, we really appreciate everybody tuning in and continuing to comment, like, and subscribe, checking out the archives on the YouTube page, Tony, Michael, Renee in costume, the up-and-coming winter collection, downtimetv.com. Everybody enjoy the day, enjoy the games, and we will see you mañana.
Hey guys, Tony here from Downtime TV checking in. I want to thank all our fans out there who's been liking, subscribing, sharing our content. You guys are the best. You guys are our bloodline. You make us love what we do.